Hey, I'm Rob from JestaThaRogue and this is my first impressions of Raccoon Tycoon, which is a bit of a stock commodity building type game, but it's like a bit of an engine builder as well, actually, based on this cute little animal world of Astoria. So let's take a look at what you get in the box and how the game plays. So this is the board. It is very long. Well, it's not very long, it's just my camera isn't very good, well, not very good span-wise. So there we go, we can see the bottom half there and the top half here. But the bottom half is where the setup happens, because as you can see the top half is empty at the moment. But what you do for the top half in setup is you get one of each resource and you put it on $1 on the track. So let me get those here. So we've got wheat, which is a nice wheat shape. We have wood, which is a nice wood shape. Iron, which is a nice iron shape. Coal, which is a weird, just a black lump, which I guess is what coal is. Goods, which is just a cube, which is disappointing. And then we have luxury items, which is this nice little bottle. You can see all the different values of these resources here. So that's the top half of the board set up. The bottom half is here. It's these cards, these big railroad cards. You lay out two of those. We've got Top Dog and Sly Fox. We've got town cards here. Here you lay one out. So we've got Newgate. And here are some tiles which are randomly assigned. These are double-sided. All the rest of the building tiles are single-sided. These are double-sided. You put them on there, one up plus one side. There's going to be more available than there are spaces to put them on. So you randomly put 4 out. The rest go back to the box. Everybody starts with 10 money. You can see it's paper money, but it's plasticky paper money. It's not paper money. It's not too bad. It's not too bad, it's quite easy to play with. Everyone also gets a few of these that I'm trying to pick up. I'm struggling, there we go. These are price and production, let's put them right way up so you can read it. Price and production cards, which has a price at the top and a production at the bottom. So, the goal is to get the most points by building railroads, building towns and building buildings. And you do that by taking one of 5 actions on your turn and going around the table. And the actions are really quick, so the game really moves at a decent pace. So let's start looking at those actions. The first 2 actions start at the top of the board, so let's take a look at those. So the first thing you can do is produce goods. This is where you use the cards. You've got 3 cards in your hand, and you look at them and you take whichever one you want. You're going to take any 3 items from the bottom, and you're going to increase the prices as shown on the top. So here, wheat's going to go up 1, and the goods are going to go up 2, and the luxury items are going to go up 1. So that's adjusted those. Then you get the production. So you get to take 1 coal, 1 thing, and 1 other thing. There you go. So I've got my resources. These go into your supply. You've got a limit of 10. If there's more than 3, you could choose which 3 to take. So I could take 2 wood and a coal. I could take a coal, a wood, and a wheat, etc. And then you just discard the card that you played and draw a replacement. So that's the first action. The second action you can do is to sell goods. So say I've got this good that I don't want. You sell it at its current value, that's 5, so I'd get 5 money from the bank, which is these lovely pink notes that say Forbidden Games on the bottom, and it says In Dog We Trust, which I think is very funny. And then you reduce the price of the value of that good by the number you sold. So this case was sold 1, so it goes from 5 down to 4. And now the third, fourth and fifth action all happen at the bottom of the board. So here you can see the 2 railroads that are available. The third action you can do is to start an auction. And this is the value, this is the minimum bid to start the auction. And what you would do is you would say, I'm going to put the Sly Fox up for auction, start the bid at 3, it'll go around the table. You can either hard pass, which is you can either drop out completely from the bidding, or you can increase the bid, and you keep going around, there's only 1 player left. They'll pay that amount to the bank, and then they'll take that card. Now, if you're the player who started the auction and you don't win it, you don't lose out, you get to take another action, any of the 5 actions available to you, which includes starting an auction, because the auction card will be replaced, so you can start another auction if you wish. Again, if you don't win it, you can take another action, so you can keep these auctions going until eventually you win one if you want, or you can just take one of the other 5 options available to you. So you're always going to get something, which I really like. The fourth action is to acquire a town, and the towns need resources. You can see to get Newgate, you either need to trade in 3 wheat, or you need to trade in 4 of any good, and then that's going to be replaced with a new town. All these are going to go face down in front of the player. The railroads and the towns are going face down in front of a player. And then finally, the fifth action is to buy a building. You just pay the cost. You see the cost across the bottom there. So you can buy this one for 6, and then it gets replaced immediately, and the next person can now buy this warehouse. Some of our abilities. Like this one, you can store 3 commodities. I'm sure there are others. Every 20 money's worth 1 point at the end of the game, and each town's worth a victory point. So there's loads of different buildings you can get, but the ones that start just going to give you more goods. So here you can see you get 1 luxury good whenever you use one of the cards. So here I'd get coal, a good and a luxury, and then I'd also get another luxury, so I would be able to get a fourth good. Now, instead of buying a building off here, if you've got one of these buildings in front of you, you could pay the cost on the back and flip it over by paying this cost, and then you'd get 2 luxury whenever you produce in the future. So that is the buildings. Some of them do have a P. Here we go. So you've got B's and P's. Whenever you produce, these all have to do with producing goods using these cards. You can only use 1 B and 1 P building. So if I had this factory and this glassworks and this machine shop, I'd be able to use the factory and then either one of the other 2. So you can't use 2 buildings, 2 B buildings, sorry, at the same time. And that's all the actions you can take. You just go around taking 1 action each until either the building deck or the railroad deck runs out. You play even turns. There is a start player marker. This huge raccoon is the start player marker. So if you've got this, then you're going to, obviously, in the last turn, you're going to play to the player to this player's right. That didn't make any sense. You know what I mean. I'm sure you understood what I meant by that. But then you're going to go around playing even turns, and then you're going to do some scoring. So the first thing you score is your town card. So say you've got this Trinity, it's worth 3 points. You can see there, you can also see that this Newgate is also worth 3 points. Some of the others are worth different amounts. So we've got 4s and 2s, etc. But you can see it says +2 with a railroad. So for every different railroad you've got, meaning dog and fox, and there are other animals as well. There's another fox. There's a bear, for example. Say you've got these 2 towns and these 3 animals, these 3 railroads, sorry. You can pair them up like so. So then these would be worth an extra 2 points each because they've got their own railroad. If you had 2 animals and 3 towns, this one would just be worth 4 points on its own because you wouldn't have another railroad to pair it up with. The next thing you score are the railroads themselves, and they're like a bit of a set collection of things, all the different animal types. You can see here we've got Sly Fox, and we have another Sly Fox. So a Sly Fox on its own, if you've got 1, is going to be worth 2 points. If you've got 2, they're worth 5 points each. So this pair is going to be worth 10 points, which is kind of cool. Up to 17 points. They've all got different values on them depending on how much they cost. The ones that cost more are worth more. So that is how you score these railroad cards. There are quite a few to pick from. There's cats and dogs and bears and stuff. There's some in the box. You've got a number of railroads in the deck, and you take some of them out depending on the player count. So they're not all going to be in play, including the Tycoon deck, the Raccoon Tycoon, the one the game's named after. You take that out if you're not playing with the full amount of players, which I'm sure there's reasons for that, but I personally would have kept that one in every game because it's what the game's named after. But anyway, the next thing you score is your buildings. You get 1 point per building. That's simple. And you score the ones that have got endgame scoring on the top. Can we find one of those? I think we already saw them earlier, didn't we? Let's see if I can find one. There we go. The Mayor's Offer gives you an extra point for every building you've got. Most points wins. Love it. Very good. It's more like Splendor or a Century Spice Road style game. Kind of a light, because it is very light. I thought it was going to be a bit heavier than it was, but I'm not disappointed because it is spot on. It's a very good little engine builder where you're getting these buildings which are going to give you the resources that you can sell to get money to buy railroads. The railroads are then going to give you the opportunity to score more points with your towns because you're going to get more resources that you can trade in for towns. You pair them up with the railroads, they're going to be worth more points. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's very quick. Your turns are very short. You're only doing 1 of 5 things. Some of them, obviously, you're not going to sell resources if you haven't got any. Sometimes you just think, I've got nothing, I'm just going to need to get some resources. So you're just going to play a card out of your hand. Very simple. All the components are nice. The artwork's really nice, especially on these animals. Look at that fat cat, it's adorable. But yeah, it's really cool. Even the paper money, even though people make fun of it, this isn't too bad with it being plastic. You can see it's very easy to separate. A lot of the time, what's the problem with paper money is that it's hard to get these bills apart. But here, it's good. Money is secret. It is double-sided, which is a shame. It's hard to keep it secret, but you have to kind of stack it up so your ones are on top or something. Which is very good. But yeah, really good game. It will replace any other games like Splendor or Century Spice Road for me because it's got that thing where it's just that little next step up. It's the perfect lightweight game. I'm thinking of the difference between King Domino and Queen Domino, if you play both of those, where Queen Domino is basically King Domino with that bit more. Now, I like King Domino the same way as I like Splendor. I'm not a fan of Century Spice Road, but I do like those lighter games. But when you add that little bit extra, I haven't played Splendor with the expansion. That'll be interesting to see how that compares to this. But this on its own, it's really, really cool. Good theme, nice artwork. Love everything about it. Raccoon Tycoon. Remember to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at JTR Podcast, to find the blog at jtrpodcast.com. I've been Rob, aka Jesta ThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.